This is like the fourth time that I try recording the intro. I'm just gonna keep. I'm just gonna keep recording, and whatever comes out comes out. So I was trying to make a video on Sunday, and then I deleted that video because I didn't like it. And then I tried to make another one on Tuesday, and I didn't like it, so I deleted it. And now, as I'm trying to make this one, I keep redoing the intro. I've just been having a really bad week of imposter syndrome and just doubt. It's been horrible. But can't be too bad. Can't be too bad. So if you enjoy the video, do let me know. Because I've been having a terrible week. So I hope that this is something good that help someone relax. Somebody is in my house, either awake or somebody broke in. And honestly, at this point, I kinda don't care. So, the videos I didn't like them. I might try to do them again because they were just book hauls. But I was looking through my shelf and I saw. So I used to like write on books and highlight a lot for annotations and all that. But now I use these little things, these little sticky notes. And I think I'm gonna go back to just writing on the book because this is a nightmare. Like, sure, it's useful in the moment, but these, especially these ones, if you try to remove them, it like takes out some of the word, some of the print. It's like it is really sticky, and it's just no good. So it does more damage. I was getting these because I didn't want to do that much damage by writing on the book and highlighting and everything. But I guess I'm gonna have to go back to that. So yeah, this is the varieties of religious experience. I think I'm saying something else, but you know what? I completely blanked out. It's almost 2 in the morning right now. So you already know how I get when it's like really late. So my idea for this video is just to be taking these off, because as you can see there's a bunch. And since it's a lot of me just flipping through pages, I thought it might be something nice for ASMR. Maybe. You can always let me know. And yeah, while I do this, I can also tell you a little bit about this book, which I read, I want to say a couple years ago. It had a very strong impact. In fact, its impact is probably more important than the book in itself, like what it's trying to say. So it deals with the psychological aspect of religious or supernatural phenomena. So he doesn't just deal with religious experiences per se, like sudden conversions and all of that. He also deals with like some ghost kind of stuff, mystical kind of stuff. He does touch on the topic of psychedelics, if I remember correctly. And yeah, that's what the book is about, just a compilation of these kinds of stories, and he goes into detail to try to explore the psychological aspect of it. Mainly to make the point that, maybe there's some kind of utility from studying those kinds of phenomena. And in a way there was, because, sure, nowadays, as advanced as we are in neuroscience and psychology. We can probably just call it, the power of suggestibility. So like these people were just seeing these things, or they were having these experiences because of suggestion, or just delusion. But his work did influence a lot in the study of the consciousness. I think I read somewhere in the book, and if it's not in the book, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that this is the book that put America as a country in the map for the academics and the intelligentsia. So the book is not originally a book, right? William James didn't sit to write this as a book. These are some lessons, some lectures that he was doing in the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. And it were these lectures that really showed the Scottish that, hey, the Americans do have maybe something interesting to add in the world of academia and intelligentsia, at least in the Department of Psychology. And this book also helped to focus the scope of religious studies, theology, religiosity, things like that. So yeah, I like how the back says it. It like stuck in my head for a long time. Like up here, it says, standing at the crossroads of psychology and religion, this groundbreaking work applied the scientific method to humanity's religious behavior. Apparently he was a very religious man, which is funny because in the book he doesn't really, he makes the case that he's like, I forgot, it was so long ago, but he was talking about, I think something about his father being very religious and strict in his particular branch of religion, which he didn't really follow in his footsteps. He was more open to the sciences and all those good things. I wonder what other notes had been taken from here. Starbuck seemed to put his finger on the root of the matter when he says that to exercise the personal will is still to live in the region where the imperfect self is the thing most emphasized. Interesting. I probably just like the quote. I had it color coded, so this brownish clear color. It was more for these are quotes and lines that I enjoyed. Because as a writer, as a reader, and most importantly, as an enjoyer of poetry, of course, I'm gonna be a bit of a bitch for sentences, for certain structures and certain musicality to certain lines. So I hope this is really actually relaxing, and I'm not just annoying you with the sound of the pages. But one of the things that stuck out to me is that when I was reading this book, it was around the years that I also found out about Mr. Cosmic Skeptic, Alex O'Connor. And a couple of years before that, well, for a while now, like a decade before that, I'd been into the debates between religious people and atheists, the neo-atheist types, and Alex O'Connor being one of them. And I found this book precisely at the moment when I was more, I want to say less militant towards religion. Because there was a time when I was like super, super militant about it. At this point, I think I would consider myself a post-theist, you know. I don't really even consider these stories of the Bible or religious myths as, I don't even really take them into consideration. So like, oh, but could it be true? And I suppose it could be true, right? I suppose there could be a God and all of those things could be real. And I suppose that it could be the particular God from the Christian Bible and whatnot. But that is a question between possibility and probability, because technically anything is possible. But is it probable? You know, you also have to wonder that. Is what are the probabilities of this? Because like possibilities is a little pointless to discuss the impossibilities or the possibilities of certain things, especially in a space as large as a universe. Because with the size of space, entropy increases, and with more entropy, the more possibility there is that everything that can possibly happen will happen. And if the space is even greater, then that just gives more room for now impossibilities to happen. So it's a whole thing, like very it's a whole branch of philosophy and a whole thing within philosophy, which is one of the things that Alex Connor does address and talk about quite a lot, or at least he used to in his channel. And so, of course, I was like super into his content. I still follow him. I still think he's I recommend him as probably one of the smartest and better sources of information, or better philosophers of the YouTube sphere. Yeah. But like YouTube kind of bastardized everything. Well, I think that in this current society, well, I should say this current system, I believe that capitalism has bastardized pretty much everything that could be bastardized. And then the things that couldn't be bastardized, it bastardized too. And then it went after the things that should not be bastardized, and it bastardized those things too. Just terrible business, terrible business. Or I guess I suppose it would be good business, because they just sell it back to the people, you know, to the point where it's like, it's kind of funny to think about it, but they managed to sell people our own surveillance. Like, they sold us back our own surveillance. We found out that the government spies on people, and we don't really have privacy. And instead of like, you know, doing something about that, they got away with it in such a way that now they can just, well, even before, they've just been selling us our own surveillance through phone, social media, and all of those things. And now with AI, oh my god, with the use of AI, it's just going out of control. But yeah, we're not here to talk about capitalism or its mistakes and its consequences. We're here to talk about the religious experience, which is funny because, so as I already said, he also talks about some like more paranormal kind of things. Like there's a story here, one of the first ones, of a man that tells a story that his friend died, and he's sitting in his home, that is close to you, you can kind of tell that it's them. Like you don't know how, but you can tell it's them. So that's the story that guy had. And I forget if it was told to William James or if he found it in a journal. Oh yeah, which by the way, the name of the author is William James. I think I forgot to say the name of the author. I gotta be like really patient and do this very slowly. Otherwise I risk ripping off the ink of the page. Or God forbid, actually rip the page. I really love the feel of Penguin books. They're always so nice. You can probably kind of tell there, but you see those black spots? It ripped off, like it pulled off a little bit of the ink. But what more can we say about the religious experience? So like this book could probably have been a lot shorter, but of course it was like the first of its kind. I think that's what I was gonna mention earlier when I was talking about Alex O'Connor. And that when I found this book was around those times when I was more open. And the funny thing is that I think, don't quote me on this, but I think this was the very first book of its kind. You know, like discussing it, religious experience, and all of these kinds of things, mystical experiences, through a more scientific lens. I definitely have to reread it. I don't know that I will get the same value that I got out of it the first time, obviously, because well, I reread it, so that's all the value that it has, like at first, you know, or like with the value that it comes with. But the more that you read books like this, the more you find new things. I guess it's the same with like really any medium. Like if you pay attention enough to things, like maybe watching a movie, for example, and you rewatch it and rewatch it and rewatch it, but if like you try to look at it through different perspectives or looking at specific things like the cinematography, or you're looking more into like the methods of acting, or you're looking at it more from the perspective of directing itself, you will be picking up more and more and more and more things, different things, and more information. It's just always good to revisit books like this. So, to this day, I think this was an important book. I think it opened a conversation that had to happen, you know, for the development of, well, yeah, the academic disciplines that I mentioned before, the study of consciousness, which, according to one of the books that I have on consciousness, the people that study consciousness don't even call it consciousness. Apparently it's like a bad word for their department, for their research, which is really funny, but it makes sense. So the reason why they do that, they don't allow their students to say consciousness or to use the word consciousness to describe what they are studying, is that consciousness is a very broad term, and it's super vague. Like, what exactly do you mean? You know, like attention gonna finish this today. And it depends a lot also on how long I've been here. How long have I been here? 21 minutes. Holy shit. I've just been rambling on and on and on and on about a bunch of shit. And I'm probably wrong like about 98% of it. I like to be very confident in my convictions and very defensive of them, but not in a way like sort of like the emotional attachment that people have towards their beliefs. It's more like, well, if you're gonna convince me otherwise, I want there to be a good reason for it, you know. So I would really prefer if we really butt heads. But of course, if whenever you're wrong, it's okay to be wrong. I don't think that people say that enough. Like, it's okay, especially in today's world, where, like, you know, these arguments online and shit, like, whew, it's really something. I am not innocent of having gotten in my fair share of internet arguments. But it's the funniest thing, because if the other person says something that I can consider correct, or I can consider like a good point, they take it as a victory. And God forbid if like I'm actually wrong. And I can understand why sometimes people just want to keep you know, their views, because it is like really annoying when you tell somebody like, you know what, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I was wrong in my belief. Your reasoning, your points, and your evidence have convinced me. I think I was wrong. Thank you. They just rub it in your face. They rub it in your face and they become assholes about it. And of course I do. I mean, they were looking for a victory. They were not really looking to discuss. Like recently I was talking to some person. Hold on, I gotta readjust my foot. Ouch. 21 minutes and I've been sitting in the same position. That cannot be good. But yeah, I was talking to this person and we were talking about socialism and capitalism, which is probably the worst thing that you can talk about with anyone online. I like to be a little, I like to provoke people. So I make like these grandiose points. Like he was being like, can you name a single a communist country that was successful? And I'm just like, all of them. Socialism never failed. Oh, they get mad. They get really mad. But at times it like really drives somebody to like really wanna butt heads with that. And in that discussion, like you start talking, and then both of you can find out interesting things, because everybody knows something that you don't. You know, like everyone that you can talk to is gonna have a piece of knowledge that you do not have, that you do not possess. So everyone that you talk to can teach you something. And if it's in a topic that you consider yourself knowledgeable in, or are particularly passionate in, I think it's good to go out of your way and really provoke a response. Although with that, there's not really any productive conversation that can come from that. It derails into a contest of which system has killed the most people. Or which system has seen more dead people under it. Which is just it's just bad faith. philosophically speaking, and you know, it's a very fluid thing, and it's sometimes impossible to grasp. And I believe, in a way, I believe it's because Kierkegaard, the philosopher Kierkegaard, is probably correct. I don't think that you can have like faith as in what the Bible means faith unless you have gone under the right experience that requires you to have that faith, because you need that leap of faith, you know. So I can see like, okay, yeah, that's probably true, but I don't buy faith. I don't really have faith. I mean, I have faith, you know, like everybody's got faith. That is one of the things that was always kind of annoying from the new atheist types. They just refuse. Oh no. Okay, never mind. You see, this is what I mean. You see how the sentence looks in there? It comes with a sticky note. For some reason, it just pulls it away. But yeah, I think that whenever religious people do say that, like, well, you gotta have faith in something, I guess to a certain extent, right? But that doesn't justify, like, yeah, I mean, you're asking me to have faith, for example, that the water that I'm drinking is not poisoned, or that it doesn't have some kind of amoeba in it that is gonna eat my brain or whatever. But at the same time, there is a difference between having faith that the system works just well enough that my water will not be that deadly, and the faith to believe that God, as is described, is the creator of the universe and created me specifically. It's like very different levels of faith, for one. I was gonna make another comment on that, but lost my train of thought. But yeah, you know, it's like, yeah, I understand there can be lead in the water, and the water can be contaminated by this, and that. And if I'm drinking the water, I'm gonna have to have faith that if there is anything in it, at least it's not gonna be enough to kill me. But yeah, I wonder what you guys think. Like what, you know, anyone that is actually listening to this point of the video, if you're still listening. That's the funny thing about ASMR videos, and being a very opinionated person. On one hand, it works because, I mean, I don't have a script or anything, and I've already been sitting here speaking for 30 minutes non-stop. But at the same time, I wonder, are you all asleep? You're probably asleep by now, and I'm just talking to the wall. But it's okay. It's okay. That's the point anyways. We're here to help you relax and sleep. I'm actually almost done with this. But I don't know that I should keep going, especially because it's already too late. I will, however, shut up for a little bit and just have the sounds of the book. So you let me know which one you like best, and I will speak to you momentarily. subscribe. But I'm gonna be trying to post at least another